Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. As I promised, I'm going to show you all the terms with reference to personal representative, executor, administrator. Yeah, this is very important for you to understand certain facts of the case. Yeah. Um, Now, what you need to know that the moment a person died, all the assets of the deceased person, we call it estates. We call it estate of the deceased person. Okay. This is what we call all the assets. All the assets are termed as estate of the deceased person. Okay. Now, when a person died, okay, so deceased, when he died, there are two things actually. You need to consider the first one. The first one, if he died with will, whether he died with will, okay, or whether he died without will. Okay, a person who died with will, we call them testate. Okay, a person who died without will, we call them died intestate. We don't call them intestate, we call them a person who died intestate. Okay. Now, a person who died with will, a testate, deceased, basically property will be distributed according to the what was written in the will. Now, when we talk about will, we need to understand as well, for Muslim it's slightly different than the non-Muslim, but as of now we just forget about that first. We going to understand about the with will first. For this with will, in order for you to be able to transfer all the properties, you need to extract. You need to extract the grant of probate. You need to extract the grant of probate. Okay. And for those person who died without will, they need to extract the letter of administration. The letter of administration. Okay. So normally in the grant of probate, they will confirm the executor, okay, or executrix. Executrix. Okay. And normally in the wills itself is already stated. The deceased already name who will be the executor, meaning to say who will be actually going to manage the deceased property, who will help in the distribution. And but then for the person who died without will, okay, either the court or the land office, not really the land office, but we call it pejabat pesaka kecil, depending on the value of the property. If it's less than 2 million, you go to pejabat pesaka kecil, or if it's more than 2 million, it's best that you go to the high court. So the respective authority will decide, okay, and there will be somebody who actually going to process, and the pejabat pesaka kecil or the court, actually they will confirm the person who's going to manage the deceased property. This is what we call administrator. Okay, administrator. Okay. Now, so when you read those cases, if you read the executor, you know that the person who died, actually they died with will. And if the facts of the case mention administrator, you know that the person who died, they died without will. Okay. And then they're going to process. They're going to process. They're going to register those property under the executor. Okay. Under the executor name. Okay. Meaning they are sort of as a trustee. Okay. Same thing here. Under the administrator's name. Okay. Administrator's name. So basically at this stage, they are more like a trustee, and from there they're going to transfer to the beneficiary. How do you spell that? Beneficiary, fishery, same thing. They're going to transfer to the beneficiary. Okay. Now, the process from this stage, okay, to this stage, okay, same thing here. The process, sorry, not from this stage, okay. The process from the deceased, okay, from the deceased, okay, from the deceased right up to this stage, okay, we call it transmission. Transmission happen from a person who died to a living person. So same thing here, okay. This will happen. Okay, there will be a transmission. How do you spell that? This is transmission. And from, okay, just use this. And from this stage to this stage, we call transfer. Okay, from this stage to this stage, we call transfer. So, from a deceased person to a living person, meaning to that particular administrator, okay, we call it transmission. And from the living person who is the administrator to the beneficiary, the meaning the rightful owner who's going to take the deceased property, we call it transfer. So transfer only happens between living person. Transmission happens from deceased to a living person. Now these people, okay, these people, executor, okay, administrator, let me just get different color, slightly different, okay, executor, administrator, okay, these people who are those we refer as personal representative, okay, personal representative. Okay, so you need to understand this process, okay, in order for you to understand those cases when we're going to do topics of shares. Okay, and then one more thing, you also need to understand, for a deceased person who is Muslim, you can only transfer. Okay, you can only transfer up to a maximum of 1/3, okay, in the will. Okay, and the other 2/3 will be according to the what has been agreed, or according to the sijil, what we call sijil faraid. Yeah, and then for non-Muslim, there will be distribution. There will be distribution order. Okay, so the duty of the executor or even the administrator, they have a duty to ensure that those deceased property will be transferred to the beneficiary accordingly. So either according to the will, or according to the sijil faraid, or according to the distribution order. If you understand this, it will be a lot easier for you to understand the topics of shares later on, particularly on the topics of transfer. Okay, and it also helps you to understand for you to understand all those cases, because of the terms. Remember, we have also seen the terms personal representative in the case of renewal testament, whereby the shareholders died and only living person is the baby, okay, the infant and personal representative. So legally they are either these two person. Yeah, this is what we call personal representative. Thank you.